Ezra 4:4. Vayehi am haaretz melrapim yarei am Yehuda umavahalim otam livnot. In this context, Zerubbabel and company have told the enemies of Judah that they're the ones responsible for building the temple. And we continue here. And it was that the people of the land were causing to slacken the hands of the people of Judah. And this is sort of slack of hand is an idiom really for discouraging the people of Judah and making them to fear to build, making them afraid to build. Merapim. Now we see two root letters showing here, resh and pei, and what's missing is at the end. This is a lamed hey verb, so named because the last root letter is hey. And when we go to parse this, we notice that there's a mem in the front. So this tells us we're looking at a participle. It has a shva under it, which tells us this is a PL. And we can see by the ending that it's masculine plural. So this is in the character of late biblical Hebrew, if you will, to use a participle as almost the way a finite verb would be used earlier. So to slacken the hands. Umavahalim. Now we see all three root letters showing here to put in dread, fear, beit he lamed. And again, we see the mem on the front, which tells us we're looking at a participle, and there's a shva under it, which is a sign that this is a PL, and again, the masculine plural. So we have the same syntactical structure here in the second part of the verse. Now let's think of one syntactical issue. We have the word twice, people, and this is a masculine singular term, but notice that it is being used with a plural participle that's being used almost like a finite verb. So here we get some help from Gazanius at 145c, talks about how is a good example of a collective. And so even though it's in the singular, that fits with using a plural verb. And let me make one final observation here about the people of the land. This is a very controversial idea in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah among interpreters. The position that I take on this is that this is an intentionally open-ended designation, so that this refers to anyone who's outside the covenantal community of the restoration, who's not part of the assembly of the Lord. That could be foreigners who were migrated in from the days of the Assyrian forced migrations. It could be people that were never exiled from even the tribes of Judah itself. It could really be anybody outside the covenantal community. Here, though, the implication in this context is this is referring to the enemies of the restoration from verse 1.